checking some things. It's been a while since I've done a live. Make sure we're clean there. Hopefully you can see everything okay. I did do horizontal. I was having some trouble getting the horizontal thing set up. But either way, welcome to the Hoosier Garage. It's a late Saturday night. I thought I would try the late night thing. I did it a while back and I had massive numbers. And since the whole election thing had come up, some of the videos I posted have been very low views. So I figured everybody was kind of preoccupied. Or maybe we've just lost interest in the Hoosier Garage. I don't know. I've been really trying to get some video content up, but really maybe not directly. I've been doing a lot of stuff to our home, getting that ready for the holidays. So a lot of the effort, the time off, and the physicality of things has been spent on the house. So what we do have coming up, some of you already know, there's a few things that need to be done on our Duster, our 72 Plymouth Duster. And make sure you're liking, by the way. Give us some thumbs up or even thumbs down, whatever you feel like. We have leaf springs on the way from Espo, aka Springs and Things. They have like a 3-month back order on it though, and I ordered them maybe about 3 weeks ago. So month and a half or so, hopefully we'll get those. I went ahead and got the heavy duty springs like I always do when I order from them, and I ordered I believe there's a 2-inch over arc, so it'll have the stink bug stance. It always is really extreme at the beginning, and then over the next 2 or 3 weeks the car will settle down, and it looks great, especially if you put the tires on it to match. So that's what we got going there. I did do something that I really needed to do for a long time. I'll grab it since a lot of you follow this. Let me see. Look at this. It's our former Cbody 8 3/4, modified, narrowed down to a body spec. And the other day I went ahead and got our purchase and set the pinion angle, and I went to about a factory setting, so it's about a 2.5 degree, let's say, pinion up. So in relation to that, you know, if you zero one out, there's 2 degrees up on the snout of the pinion, similar to a factory. And I went ahead and hit it with black lacquer. So there's a few things I'm going to do to it. I did go ahead and pop the old seals out, and we need to get some axles for this thing. The bearing and seal kit. I have some open chunks that I could put in there, you know, hog heads, third members, whatever you want to call them. I have like a 355 open. The rest of the stuff's like, well, I have 323, and then I have mostly 276s. So I have some options there. I would like to get sure grip in it at some point, and but at least we could play around with some of the gears in that way. Probably go more of a highway gear, because that's just what I do. I'm not a racer. We're gonna fess up and say we're not a racer. We do like to enjoy the cars, driving them and stuff like that. But I wouldn't mind having 323 action going on in it. That would be kind of cool. And then have a sure grip eventually. So that is what's going on there. Let's see. I think somebody said some in the comments before I ran over there to grab that. Let's see if we can get the. It's a little different when you have it on the side there. Okay, there it is. We want the live chat. There we go. So Big J used General Spring out of Kansas. They have them in stock. Good to know. Maybe we can look at them in the future. I've always got Espo, and they have always been in stock. I don't know what the case is here. but I've had really good experience with them. They have great customer service, and I just have all this stuff going on anyway, so I really wasn't too picky about that. What can I say? So we could deal with that. We do probably need to get money together and get the axles, bearings, and seals for this. That way, when they do come in, I have everything else. Whatever it was I did with the, oh, they're in the car. I just laid them in the car. The spring mounts, the hangers that we got from Chris up in Canada. We just got to open the hole up on those to like the 5/8 or so size. And then Espo is providing new bolts for those, the eyelet bolts. I have one of them, but I said, just give me a pair. We'll do that. And let's see. We could do some front end stuff, like accumulate a few parts. I have most of them. All the hard parts are painted and ready. I just need to get a few more bushings and ball joints and tie rods, stuff like that. And then we can have all that together. Need to get some torsion bars too. All the ones I have, I think, are either broken or they're too small. So that's something we need to look into. So there's a lot of nickel and dime stuff that's going to be coming up, you know, here in the winter. Let's just say that. We could probably start doing body work on it, hopefully in the spring when it starts to warm up again, which will be a while since it's starting to get cold now. But that's fine because we need to get it, all this other stuff. And there's some other activities we can get involved with. And since a lot of the money's going in the house right now, well, you can't really put it in the car. So I do need to do some things so that we will have content for you all. Now, I did make a community post the other day. There's a new channel that's here on YouTube. It's called Ellis Car Customs, and that's Ellis as in Ellis. And then Car Customs are all spelled with K's. So no C, just K car. So Car Customs. What he is doing over there is really cool. A lot of people have picked up on his channel. It's a very raw channel. He just posts the video, usually once a day or every other day. But he's taken, I believe, a 50, that's where I'm not good on it, but I think like a 56, it was a Chevy hardtop, just the standard, you know, the classic Chevy. And he is turning it into a Nomad, which is like the two-door station wagon, okay? Now, a lot of people do the four-door to two-door conversion, and there's a lot of standard tricks that people like to do on those cars. But this is something he thought would be really cool. He understands a lot of the differences and where, like the door jamb and where certain things marry up and where it changes and shapes change from the two and four door chassis over to the Nomad. And there's all these little things. He had a whole roof section that had been cut off of a car back like 50 years ago. I think he had some doors and some other, the tailgate and specific sheet metal like that. And I've been really fascinated watching his channel. I think he posted another new video earlier. But if you get a chance, check out Ellis Car Customs. And if you comment on there, be sure to tell him that Hoosier Garage sent you. I've been commenting here and there. Not, you know, flooding it or anything. I just like to kind of check in with it and see what kind of progress he's got. Because, you know, I'm definitely not a Chevy guy. I've done some Chevy stuff, but that is a really cool project. And he seems like a cool guy. And he is just getting it done. He's, I would say the car is probably worse than the Duster, mainly in the fact that he is cutting away a lot of stuff that could be good or could be bad. You know, our situation, we were just cutting away and restoring it, whereas he is cutting it away, restoring, and also modifying to another model. So really cool. Just make sure you check that out. Give him some support. I think he's definitely one of the YouTube channels that's especially just popped up, or really in general, that deserves good viewership. And I think he's definitely he's already got 1,000 subscribers. So if I recall, when I started the Hoosier Garage, it took about 9 months, I think. Is that right? Let's see. No, I'm sorry. It took 1 year and 9 months. It was 1 year and 9 months for me to get to 1,000 subscribers. Now, what we was doing the van, and I started out similar to what he's doing, but his project is much more mainstream and much more ambitious. and I think he's getting more done in a short period of time. It's catching a lot of attention. So really cool to see that. It looks like Jeff popped in here. Hey, how you doing? Um, what else is going on, man? I might do a video, like an actual upload video for you all to kind of see some of the other stuff that we got going on around here. It won't be car related, but just kind of give you an idea. If you like knowing anything about me or just kind of the projects I get into, then you might find it interesting. I'm sure it won't be major stuff, anything like that that's going to get big views. But we need to keep touching base with you. You know what's going on. I don't want to lose people. I have noticed some cool gains on the channel and get some people. You get a surge of likes. I think we're at like 4,600 and almost 70, somewhere in the ballpark. So really happy about that. And I'm really almost tempted, since I'm in a slow period on the car, is to bring the satellite over here and start doing something with that. But I have to hold myself back, because I mean, it's just like, you're going to have parts. You're going to have a parts explosion everywhere. There's still quite a bit of the duster in pieces around here. And, you know, I still put the van in here, which kind of shrinks the area down when they're all in here. When we're working on stuff, the van's usually out. But you need to leave that space for the van. And we need to have places to put stuff. So, one thing I am doing, the barn that the satellite is in, it has a little room to the side that when we moved here, we put a lot of our personal stuff in, and we've had a hard time like cycling it into the house. With a lot of what I'm doing right now, I'm actually building a room in the house. I mean, it's an old room, but it's being renovated, and a lot of that stuff's going to go in there. A lot of my stuff is. So I've been putting stuff in the attic and organizing and moving stuff around. And it's just crazy. And but what I think will happen is, when we get a lot of that cleared out, get that room done here probably by the end of the holidays, then I can actually have an organized area inside of that barn for some other things. Some of them pertaining to the channel, hopefully, and then some of them that we can actually store stuff and have just flat out organization. So I'm kind of resisting from doing anything to the satellite. Plus, I'm just busy. I'm just really busy. You know, I can't really say much else than that. That's where we're at. I really hate that we can't get much going on with the channel, but just the way it is sometimes. I know when we moved out here, I took a hiatus, and it took a little bit to get everybody back following that time. But I think that's just the way it is. We're going to have to deal with it that way. I mean, we are not a really big time channel. We have a great following, but you know, when we get to it, I think everybody will get back into it again, because good things are going to happen. Because when I start projects like these, I'll have to finish them, and you're going to see it finish, especially in front of everybody here. So we got to keep that promise to ourselves, and I'm definitely motivated to do it. So you guys, what is going on with everybody? Are you all, trying to get this chat back up. Are you all working on much on your cars? I know it's it's getting the cold time of year. Like, I don't have heat in here yet. I hopefully will soon. But if you don't have heat, what are you doing? Are you doing anything? Are you being like me and doing other side projects? Or are you just working, getting on the grind with all that? Just let me know what's going on. Is there any questions you all got? Because I like to stay in touch with everybody. Because I kind of miss getting the feedback from everybody. But when there's nothing to get feedback on, then this is the way it is. All right, let's check up some stuff. So, you know, when Jeff popped in, he said hello. He checked out Doug the other day. That's Doug at Ellis Car Customs. It's a 57, yeah. What an undertaking he has going on. He checked him out. Yeah, because I told Jeff's always great about being on the spot about that. And yeah, it's just a major undertaking, but he really seems confident. He's really just laid back and cool about it, and really like what he's doing. We got Jason's Garage and RV Repair. Got 318 will run. I got Robert Nix. So kind of a growing group. Like I said a while back, I came on here late like this and on a weekend. It really was a kind of a big hit. So doing pretty good. Jason, hey, how you doing? Robert said he's working on a 78 GMC 4x4, and it's outdoors, and it has been a very long haul. Mechanical done, now the interior is next. Well, that's good. You know, you get, if it's windy at all, you can get in the interior and do some actual work. 318 will run is extremely busy. He fell a year behind, yeah, so it happens. I know a lot of you have, I think, 318 will run even did a video on what his influence from like Roadkill. They're canceling a lot of those shows. I think Discovery Channel or Discovery, company, they own all those properties, and they are doing away with all that because they're massively in debt. So those shows are going away, at least on that platform. So I guess a lot of that will probably end up in some form back on YouTube. And it's very interesting how our media in so many ways is evolving, and it's now like kind of getting over the hump on stuff because, you had the election, so much was decided by podcast and right here on YouTube and the internet, and like the old mainstream media is just not viable. Of course, there's a lot of other reasons why or many reasons why it's not, and there's just the way things are growing, that it's just not sufficient, I think. It's like if you think back to 30 years ago and you turned on Saturday morning on maybe PBS, TNN, remember the power block that I think they still run it, but you had the TNN morning shows, and it seemed like PBS and maybe TNN would run like Motor Week or Motor Trend. Maybe it was just Motor Trend in its rawest form. I remember Motor Week, where they would review newer cars. And then you had like Shade Tree Mechanic, which I really liked for just basic mechanicking kind of action. And those guys had good personalities. They was just working out of a garage and had kind of the garage repertoire going on. And then you had like Hot Rod TV, which turned into Horsepower TV. Joe, I think he died here recently. The other guy's name, he was like, you had Ford and Chevy. And it always aggravated me because I was first getting into Mopar, and I was like, these guys never do anything Mopar. And then the Chevy stuff and the Ford stuff they did, they was like, well, we had a cracked block, so we went out and bought a brand new aluminum block, and they'd slam it down on the table, and they was like, we're going to build this. I'm like, well, that's great, I'm sure we can all do that. So, that stuff it still exists. Like, I guess the power block is still around, and there's a lot of that. I don't think it's as extreme in that mode as it was, because it's like, I think they had to come down to earth. So that sort of stuff is kind of the way it all started, it seemed like, especially with modifications. And then back in the 2000s, it got a little better. Things became a little bit more budget oriented, but man, it wasn't until you got YouTube around 2010 or so where everything really started to get momentum, and there was guys just like you and me just building stuff. This is what I got, this is what I have hoarded out, or this is where we went to get. And much like we do here, it's just, we're regular guys, we're doing it, and that's what people are catching on to. And I think that's what's going to be the big thing. And the Hoosier Garage is no different. We need to learn how to adapt. I have a different style. If you watch the channel, you understand that I have like a kind of a retro vibe to it. I guess you could say as a means to stand out. We already stand out with Mopar, right? We're kind of different there. But yeah, adjust this camera. I'm trying to get y'all white so I don't look too offensive to you. But when you're doing Mopar, you're kind of in a smaller niche, and then hopefully you're trying to bring stuff a little bit more full circle by having like the retro vibe, and people maybe just enjoy watching it. And I think it does okay. I don't think it's like a big hit or nothing, but um, if there's stuff that we need to learn, I'm always welcome to hearing your all's idea. Do we need to shorten things? Do we need to just cut out certain things? You always are welcome to let me know, because if you really like this channel and you want to see us do good, I really appreciate you feeling that way, and two, just be, as long as you're constructive with your criticisms or what you like or don't like, I'm always wanting to hear that feedback, and I really appreciate it, because if it helps me, then what more can we ask for? So I think a lot of things are going to probably start changing. Maybe it won't be that noticeable, but like with all of that stuff dispersing, and there's so many different types of channels. Like when you watch Vice Grip Garage, he's really funny. He's caught into the whole, just has a sense of humor that's really kind of whimsical and stuff. And I'm pretty silly in a lot of ways, but I don't know really how to bring it into the camera. I've kind of wondered about that, like how do we make that work? But at the same time, you don't want to get too silly, because we're trying to help people out. And then so we might be too ordinary in some ways, that we need to find a little bolt of lightning and work on things that way. But maybe we work as just being the steady worker, doing stuff and getting it done. So, like I said, constructive criticism is always helpful, and even the guys who have like trolled me in the past, it's actually kind of helpful when they say something, and there's usually some truth behind it. So you have to kind of listen to it, and then you just troll them back. So let's see. So we went back to Robert working on his GMC 318 wheel run. Yeah, Robert loved watching Shade Tree Mechanic. There's some episodes of that on YouTube. You can find it. If you're not familiar with that show, you can look up Shade Tree Mechanic, maybe put in TNN as a tag code, and you can see the two guys working on different vehicles. And sometimes they go to the junkyard and just give you tips on kind of the basics of what to look for. 318 Run says, Adam, just be who you are and do what you like, and that will make it fun for you, and it will be genuine. Says we do a great job and love the retro pieces in the vids, and that's good to know. I am always, as long as I am myself, I am welcome to adapt to certain things. So I will definitely be myself. But if we can make any adjustments on anything, I have no problem with that, as long as it's like I would enjoy doing it. So you all do a great job of giving that feedback. We have many of you that just give really good feedback, like constantly. When I've put a video out, you're always there commenting. That's much appreciated. Man, what else? I will say we have a couple things that are opening up as far as being more interactive. So we have, like, obviously our posters and our t-shirts and stickers. That's the three main things we have. As far as like merchandising, I try to keep that kind of simple. I plan to, especially as we go on, there's not a lot going out as far as content, is do some giveaways. And we have kind of a cool system that I think that's going to be in place, that people can interact and win some stuff. And then we'll send you either a pack one or stuff like that. And we'll get that out. I'm looking to hope done in there over time. We'll have a second edition poster. So we have the one that's like there in the back, right there. That would be our first edition poster. Well, I kind of got some ideas to do a second version. It'll probably be similar style artwork, but it will just be laid out a little different. Have maybe more the satellite, because we've got 2 depictions of the duster on there, the van, and then the satellite. Well, it would probably have a little heavier on the satellite, a little less of the duster, and a little less of the van. So as we go through projects, they will be kind of the star of each of those posters. So the duster kind of gets that one. Satellite would be next. And it's always a constant, so that's why it's there. And it just poster just covers all the bases of what we are about here. Let's see. And Jeff just lives vicariously through YouTube influences. Robert wants to know if I ever finished the powder coat oven. So on the powder coat oven, I have put it off. It's back in the corner, but I've kind of let it marinate in my idea realm for a while. I think one thing I want to do, I want to get that done after we get the duster on the road, because I want to do powder coat on satellite, all those parts. I want to get all that powder coating going. But what I want to do is make it modular. It is like a phone booth right now as far as its dimensions. But what I want to do is, I think, cut it in half and finish them as sections to where I can do smaller stuff, which is most things, in the small section, which would be almost the equivalent of like your kitchen oven, right? When a lot of guys take old kitchen ovens and put them in the garage and make them a small powder coat oven. Well, it would be that. It would be a little bit bigger inside for slightly larger parts, but then make it to where you can pop a few things loose and make it modular with another section, and then it would be the confectionery sections would be at opposite ends, so they would work evenly. But it's going to need some planning. So as I get closer to getting the duster done, I'm going to work on getting the design laid out for that to where it's effective. I have a couple guys to talk to about that, because when I worked at Snap-on, they had a very large powder coat oven, and they had to understand a lot of the nuances of it. So I'll probably talk to them and kind of get some ideas. I already have a few since I talked to them and kind of understood some things. So a lot of that, hopefully if I can apply it to this, and it'll be easier to store if we're not in a period where we're using it. So that's always a big thing with me. If you can, because it's back here in the corner, if I could break it down and actually set it up in the rafters or something, or put it in the other building in pieces, that would be great. And then it's just a matter of an hour so you can put it together and have it going. And let me pull the chat back up. Let's see. Skate Punk says, how long have you been in your new spot? We moved here to the new spot in June of 2023. So we've been here almost a year and a half. The garage I pretty much set up right away. There's some things that it needs. I need probably some new garage doors, especially one of them needs to be replaced. The other one works good, but I need to get some things going there. I might eventually make an addition from right there. That's a Larry Bird poster. From about there, I'm considering opening that. So about there and up and over to that corner. This is the outside wall here here. That's where it's showing on the camera. And take that back maybe 10 feet and then kind of extend my work area into there. And that way it'll take some of the action out of this immediate area. So some of this would move down. Now that's not like a immediate thing I'll do, but that's kind of a long-term plan to do with the garage. Then a lot of the stuff with the house, like I explained, the other barn over there, it has a lot of our stuff, and we've been kind of slow cycling it in because I've been working on a little this, a little that. I've been working on the cars, so that's slowed that down. Well, now that is slowing this down. So hopefully a lot of that can get moved around properly, and then we can kind of spread out our areas out here, kind of like I explained earlier. So yeah, June 2023. We bought it in like March, but we took a while to move out here because there's always, this, logistics and stuff. Robert is asking, are you saying, if you heard correctly, that automotive TV shows are going by the wayside? Maybe not in general, but if you look up Motor Trend, And the Roadkill series, like with Freiberger and Dulcich and Finnegan on the other show, Roadkill, they're canceling those shows. Those shows are going away, and that makes up a bulk of a lot of shows. Now, I can't speak for like what the old Spike or TNN shows, like what is it, Trucks and some of those guys. Those are probably still going. I don't have a lot of channels on my TV because I don't watch that much TV anymore to know if they are still going. I'm sure they are. Uh, so there's stuff like that that is still going to be around. They're obviously still going to be shows. They like was it Gas Monkey? I'm sure that if that's not been canceled, that's still on. I don't watch it. A lot of those are still on, but just as far as Discovery and the shows they own, like the Vice Grip Garage show, uh, was it Roadworthy Rescues or something? That one's being canceled. All the car shows, I believe, under their umbrella they're gone. There are some episodes that are supposed to be coming out that are from what's left, but that's pretty much going to be it. And I think it's going to have to go back to YouTube for stuff like that. I think it's a corporate thing. They've gotten in debt and massively in debt. So, Robert Nick said, "You like to see how you do all that? Would be a good episode." Yeah, yeah, we will. I've got some footage on that from last year that I think I have in a folder, so I can kind of marry it with whatever we do in the future. Yeah, I don't know anything about Gasman. I mean, I know who he is, Rich Rollins. I don't watch a lot of those shows. What's always weird to me with those type of shows is like every guy on those shows always looks like they're like a biker, but then they're working on cars and they're just throwing money at it. And I'm like, sometimes the stuff is just like out of touch, crazy, but it's like I don't know. I kind of worry about my own stuff, and then I video it, and if y'all want to see it, maybe you'll get some inspiration. But I don't get real inspired by those shows. If I had a bunch of money, I would probably be inspired because I'm like, no, that looks crazy. Let's go get another crazy toy, But since we're kind of focusing on cars that we really, really want, we're building them specifically where they're just like, what's new for this week? We're bored. Let's just build this crazy vehicle with, absurd features on it. So, I mean, what can we say about that? Not too much. All right, guys, we're a little over half an hour in on this. It's getting late. Y'all gave me a great showing tonight. I appreciate it. Maybe Elon will buy them up, bring them all back. I don't know. I think it's fine going to YouTube. It's much more easier to access YouTube anyways, at least the way things are now. I mean, they can just go to YouTube and do what we're doing, and they would instantly have a massive following. So, and then, you're monetized, why not? If we could, get the viewers like that, we'd be in the same boat. I mean, that's the thing. We're all equals in that regard. They obviously have star power, so they might as well just YouTube it out, and then social media. You have Instagram. I like Dulcich a lot, so I follow him on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, there you can make money just by posting and getting reactions. And then obviously here on YouTube, you're getting all these reactions and getting way more than I do. So I make decent money doing this. So, I mean, they can keep their livelihood going as far as or keeping that up. And, just they're big enough they can hire a couple of guys to do their camera work and maybe some editing. And then they're on a higher scale as far as notoriety. So why not? That way you don't have to go and buy apps. And, I had to get the Motor Trend app to watch. And I really only liked Roadkill Garage. I like that concept because it's very rootsy, and watch some of the other shows. I do like Rush Brothers out of Canada, but they seem to bounce around on who wants to sign them for their shows. So they kind of went to YouTube, and they're doing fine there, I believe. So what can you say? YouTube, you do it on your level as long as you're not aggravating YouTube and they kick you off the platform or strike you to death, then you're going to do all right, especially if you're getting that many people watching you. So either way, we're going to jump off here. It's getting cold. Probably can't see my breath, but boy, it's right there. I think it's about 40 degrees right now. So we'll jump off here. I don't know. What am I going to say? Check out the old videos that we've done. See if anything looks nostalgic to you. Make a comment. So we're always getting some new people in, and I get questions occasionally. I always like to answer them. So either way, y'all have a great night. We'll see y'all soon.